The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom came out in May 2023 and immediately became a cult classic and a serious Game of the Year contender. Despite the game's popularity, many players don't know about all the little secrets hidden within Tears of the Kingdom, from nods to previous games to lesser known trivia. Welcome back to the leaderboard. We've got one heck of a video for you today, but before we get started, here's a quick word from our sponsor, Atlas VPN. With more than 6 million users worldwide, Atlas VPN makes the internet more accessible and secure for everyone. Not only does it protect you from malicious links, ads, trackers, and anyone looking to violate your privacy, looking at you, big internet, it's also the best VPN deal on the market. Add that to the ability to access region-locked content from anywhere in the world, and you've got a top-notch VPN. You can grab their summer deal right now and get all of Atlas VPN's great features on all of your devices for only $1.83 per month, plus 3 extra months for free. This even comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description to take advantage of this great deal before time runs out. Speaking of time running out, doesn't Link have to save Hyrule before Ganon ruins everything? Right, we've got some Zelda facts to run through. I'm Keegan, and here are 107 facts that you should know about The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Number 1. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is the sequel to 2017's Breath of the Wild, but you already knew that, didn't ya? Number 2. Tears of the Kingdom is only the second direct sequel in the whole Legend of Zelda series. The other one is Majora's Mask, which continues the events of Ocarina of Time. Number 3. Let's continue with something else you also probably already know. Tears of the Kingdom takes place a few years after Breath of the Wild, in which Link successfully defeated Calamity Ganon. Number 4. Killing Calamity Ganon didn't get Hyrule rid of the main antagonist of the Legend of Zelda franchise, since Ganondorf soon returns and causes chaos in Hyrule. Ganondorf's gloom causes the Hyrule Castle to float into the sky, new caves appear, as well as a dangerous dimension known as the Depths. Number 5. The Depths are a new zone to explore in Tears of the Kingdom, mirroring the ground level where Hyrule's mountains are trenches and water is walls. Number 6. While exploring the Depths may sound like a fun new way to discover the world of Hyrule, it isn't without danger. The Depths are filled with gloom, a dangerous substance that drains Link's life. It's also home to some of the deadliest creatures in Tears of the Kingdom, so you better be ready before heading there. Number 7. High risk, high reward. While the Depths are dangerous, this zone contains some of the rarest treasures in the entire game. Number 8. Besides deadly monsters imbued with gloom, the Depths are also home to the Yiga clan, the Sheikah assassins Link meets in Breath of the Wild. Number 9. While Link defeated the Yiga clan's leader, Master Koga, in Breath of the Wild, it seems this villain survived and fell into the Depths. Seeking revenge against Link and Zelda, Master Koga led the Yiga clan and explored the Depths to find remnants of Zonai technology to create a powerful weapon. Number 10. Most of the Yiga clan roams around in the Depths, but the main clan's hideout remains in the Gerudo Highlands, just like in Breath of the Wild. Number 11. As the name suggests, the Depths are the deepest zone in Tears of the Kingdom, a glitch used to let players go out of bounds, so now there's a flat ground covered with invisible gloom at negative 3080 below the surface level to prevent Link going any deeper. Number 12. Gloom, the dark red ooze found mostly in the Depths, is equivalent to Breath of the Wild's malice and represents Ganondorf's evil forces overtaking Hyrule. Number 13. Gloom causes damage to Link and destroys his heart containers. Link can eat however he wants, and he won't be able to restore these lost hearts easily. Number 14. To restore hearts lost from the effects of gloom in the Depths, Link either needs to go back to the surface or use Lightroot to get the heart containers back. And even then, this won't automatically heal the hearts. Number 15. Another way to restore lost hearts by gloom is the new Sunny modifier acquired when cooking Sundelions. A dish with the Sunny modifier will restore hearts even if they're lost to gloom, which can help Link survive longer in the Depths. Number 16. On top of restoring lost hearts, the Lightroots reveal a portion of the Depths map, create a fast travel point, and bring some light to the otherwise dark depths. Number 17. The only other way for Link to light up dark places is to use bright bloom seeds that he can find in caves and underground places. Number 18. Lightroots are located directly below shrines from the surface, except for the Kawakarat Lightroot, which is slightly further away from the Turakawak Shrine. Number 19. As you may have noticed, with the Kawakarat Lightroot and the Turakawak Shrine, the name of a Lightroot is the name of the shrine located above it, spelled backward. Number 20. Each shrine located on the surface has a Lightroot equivalent, but shrines in the sky do not. Number 21. Gloom spawns are one of the most dangerous enemies Link encounters during his adventures throughout Hyrule. These gloom hands will chase him out of their territory, and while Link can't outrun them on foot, an easy way to dodge the gloom spawns is to climb up a vertical wall or pillar. Number 22. Defeating a group of gloom spawns can trigger the appearance of Phantom Ganon, a version of Link's nemesis made of gloom. Number 23. Phantom Ganon makes his return with Tears of the Kingdom after almost 2 decades away from Zelda games. His last appearance dates back to 2004's Four Swords Adventures. Number 24. A group of gloom spawns corrupted the Great Deku Tree and the Korok Forest, making the iconic tree from the Legend of Zelda series sick with gloom coming from its interior. Number 25. Once Link manages to dodge the gloom spawns, they will drop 2 to 3 dark clumps, an ingredient used to cook meals with the gloom resistance effect. The more dark clumps in the recipe, the better the level of resistance. Number 26. Don't cook dark clumps on their own, or you will end up with dubious food. Link can reluctantly eat this gross meal, but it will restore a random amount of hearts. Number 27. Only one person can save a failed meal. Moza, the cook from the Rococa Hills well. She can transform dubious food or rock hard food into monster stew for 10 rupees. Number 28. Speaking of meals, there are a total of 214 that Link can cook in Tears of the Kingdom. Number 29. The code of Tears of the Kingdom reveals a list of additional meals, but they can't be obtained in the game. Number 30. When he cooks, Link hums different tunes from past Zelda games such as Saria's song and Epona's song from Ocarina of Time, Zelda's Lullaby from Link to the Past, the Ballad of the Windfish from Link's Awakening, Ballad of the Goddess from Skyward Sword, or even the Legend of Zelda main theme. Number 31. Depending on the region he's cooking from, Link can hum any champion's theme from Breath of the Wild, such as Cass's theme and the Champion's Ballad. Number 32. Music is not the only recurring item from past Zelda games. Armor sets from Tears of the Kingdom are also inspired by previous installments, such as Link's traditional green tunic with the Awakening set and the Fierce Deity's mask from Majora's Mask. Number 33. The Awakening set not only grants Link his green tunic, but also changes his appearance to make him look like his chibi counterpart in Link's Awakening. Number 34. While we're talking about Link's green tunic, do you know where it comes from? According to Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of The Legend of Zelda, Link's green tunic and hat were inspired by Disney's version of Peter Pan. Number 35. On top of these armors, Link can get his iconic Hylian shield in Tears of the Kingdom by heading to the docks underneath Hyrule Castle. Number 36. To reveal the map of Hyrule in Tears of the Kingdom, Link needs to be shot from Skyview Towers. Once opened, he gets launched into the sky and uses his Purapad to scan the land. Number 37. The Purapad works like the Sheikah Slate from Breath of the Wild, with a compendium showing every monster, weapon, and ingredient Link photographed during his journey. Number 38. The Sheikah Slate looked like a Wii U pad as Breath of the Wild initially came out on that platform. Since Tears of the Kingdom was released on the Nintendo Switch, the Purapad looks like Nintendo's latest console. Number 39. The Purapad is an invention from Purah, whom we met in Breath of the Wild. The director of the Hateno Ancient Tech Lab helped Link repair the Sheikah Slate and created her own upgraded version of this device. Number 40. Purah's appearance changed a lot between Breath of the Wild and its sequel. Her experimentations with an anti-aging rune made her look like a young girl in the first game, despite Purah being around 124 years old. In Tears of the Kingdom, she perfected her solution to look like a grown woman. Number 41. Link can customize his paraglider with 53 different fabrics, giving Link's glider a unique appearance. Number 42. One of these paraglider fabrics is a direct reference to Breath of the Wild. The nostalgic fabric is the same one as in the prequel and can be found in the exact same spot where Link first got his paraglider in Breath of the Wild. Number 43. While paragliding and exploring the sky is a key element in Tears of the Kingdom, it's actually the second game in the franchise to focus on the skies, after 2011's Skyward Sword. Number 44. Producer Eiji Aonuma explained that the development team wanted Link to be able to fall down from the sky to the surface in Skyward Sword, but the technical limitations of the Wii made it impossible. That's the reason why Link was only able to dive from specific locations and not just jump down anywhere he wanted. The release of the Nintendo Switch finally let the developers create this seamless vertical mobility and ended up being one of the main mechanics in Tears of the Kingdom. Number 45. Hidemaru Fujibayashi, Takamichi, director of Tears of the Kingdom, was also the director of Skyward Sword. He helped introduce a variety of elements to the Zelda series, including the skydiving mechanic that is central to Tears of the Kingdom. Number 46. While we're talking about the producer and director, here's one more feature the duo brought to Tears of the Kingdom: Ascend. This mechanic was initially a debug feature to allow the tech team to easily get out of caves, as running back to the entrance every time proved tiresome. They found this mechanic really interesting and decided to keep it in the final version of the game. Number 47. Shigeru Miyamoto, Nintendo's game director and creator of The Legend of Zelda and Mario among others, was less involved in the development of Tears of the Kingdom than previous entries in the franchise, because he was too busy working as a producer for the 2023 Super Mario Bros. Movie. Number 48. Back to Link. Did you notice that Tears of the Kingdom is one of the few games in the Zelda series that doesn't start with Link waking up? And he doesn't even get knocked unconscious shortly after the beginning of the game, unlike in Majora's Mask. Number 49. In Breath of the Wild, Link can buy a house in Hateno Village. However, sometime before the events of Tears of the Kingdom, this house seems to change ownership, as now it's referred to as Zelda's house and not Link's. Number 50. The inside of the house has been redecorated since Breath of the Wild, except for a framed picture that may seem familiar to some players. At the end of the Champions Ballad DLC, Link, Zelda, and the Champions all take a picture together. This picture is now framed in Link, or rather Zelda's house. Number 51. The well behind the house became Zelda's place to retreat when she wanted a little peace. Link can find her diary there, as well as a chest containing a well-worn hairband. Using it changes Link's hairdo to make it look more like the one he had in Breath of the Wild. Number 52. While the change of house ownership suggests that Link and Zelda have been living together between the events of Breath of the Wild and its sequel, nothing is explicitly stated in Tears of the Kingdom. Number 53. Tears of the Kingdom is the 20th main entry in the Legend of Zelda series. Number 54. To build the hype before the release of Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo teamed up with Snapchat to create a special Adventure Awaits filter featuring a countdown clock to May 12, 2023. Number 55. Tears of the Kingdom sold 10 million copies within its first 3 days of release, making it the fastest selling entry in the Legend of Zelda franchise. It's also the fastest selling Nintendo game in the West, not only for the Nintendo Switch, but for all other systems. Number 56. Despite being in pretty bad shape, the Master Sword is present in Tears of the Kingdom. Fi, the humanoid spirit who resides in this weapon and guides Link across his adventures in past games, gets one of her most important roles in the entire franchise. Number 57. Zelda refers to the Master Sword as she instead of it as a vessel for Fi's spirit. Number 58. Since we're talking about our dear princess, here's something you may not know about Zelda. Her favorite food is fruitcake. Yes, someone's favorite food can be fruitcake. Number 59. Zelda's favorite flower is the Silent Princess, a rare and endangered flower species. Number 60. Zelda's choice of flowers is quite fitting, as Tears of the Kingdom is only the second game where Zelda gets English voice acting. The first one was Breath of the Wild. Number 61. Patricia Summerset voices Princess Zelda in Tears of the Kingdom. She's also the one behind Phantom Ganon's voice. Number 62. Zelda's French voice actor, Adeline Chatail, previously dubbed Jinx in League of Legends, Mei in Overwatch, and Ellie in The Last of Us. Number 63. One last piece of info about the French dub and then we move on. The voice of Ganondorf is the same as Kratos from God of War. Frederick Souterelle voices both characters. And if you don't know the full story of Kratos yet, check out our timeline video that sums up the entire story of the God of War series. Number 64. Since Link doesn't talk much, he doesn't have a dedicated English dub. Kengo Takanishi does Link's voice acting in all languages. Number 65. Matthew Mercer provides the English dub for the main antagonist of Tears of the Kingdom, Ganondorf. He previously voiced Goro Majima in Yakuza Like a Dragon, Cassidy in Overwatch, Leon S. Kennedy in Resident Evil 6, and will soon be heard as Minsk in Baldur's Gate 3, among many other works in popular anime, films, and video games. Number 66. Tears of the Kingdom was initially planned as a DLC for Breath of the Wild, but the development team had so many new ideas that Nintendo eventually decided to create a new game that continues the adventures of Link and Zelda. Number 67. Since Tears of the Kingdom was not initially meant to be a standalone game, there are plenty of similarities between Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. Producer Eiji Aonuma admitted that the team sometimes struggled to differentiate the two games, especially as they wanted to create something new, all while remaining close to the original game. Number 68. Tears of the Kingdom references previous games in the series through small details. For instance, the fresh milk bottles you can buy have a logo that is a reference to Lon Lon Ranch, which is now in ruins. Number 69. The development of Tears of the Kingdom began in 2017, just after the release of Breath of the Wild. Number 70. To avoid any leak prior to the official announcement of the game during E3 2019, Nintendo kept the game's development a secret not only to the press, but also to some of its own employees, who discovered the existence of the game when the official trailer went live. Number 71. Producer Eiji Aonuma revealed that the development of Tears of the Kingdom had been finished at least a year prior to its official release date. The development team decided to push the release date further to refine the physics engine and carry out more tests ahead of the game's launch. Number 72. Tears of the Kingdom is compatible with various amiibo from previous Zelda games. Each amiibo unlocks a unique glider fabric, and some bring additional rewards, ranging from weapons and armor to Link's faithful horse, Epona. Number 73. Epona can only be obtained via amiibo, but that doesn't mean that Link goes around Hyrule on foot. Any horse Link tamed in Breath of the Wild automatically joins the hero in Tears of the Kingdom. Number 74. On top of using bows from horseback, Link can also use a spear while riding in Tears of the Kingdom. Number 75. Horses not only allow Link to travel across Hyrule faster, but they can also pull various objects with the towing harness. Number 76. All horses aren't made equal. They each have a strength, speed, stamina, and pull value, which can be upgraded by the horse god Malenia near the East Akala stable. Number 77. Malenia has her own music theme, which is a mix between Epona's song and the Great Fairy's Fountain theme. Number 78. 3 horses cannot be upgraded: Epona, the giant white stallion, and the giant horse. Number 79. Stall horses are skeletal horses that roam around the depths at night. Besides looking pretty cool, they have one major advantage: Link cannot take damage from gloom while riding one of them. Number 80. One of the most unique horses from Tears of the Kingdom belongs to Zelda. Link can tame Zelda's horse to get a golden steed with a gentle temperament. Number 81. Producer Eiji Aonuma said the development team wanted Link to be able to go underground in Breath of the Wild, but the technical limitations of the Wii U made this impossible. That's why they had to wait for the Nintendo Switch to add this feature. Number 82. Each dungeon is unique and has characteristics linked to its environment. Number 83. Tears of the Kingdom is the 4th Zelda game where Ganondorf appears as his true self, and not as the Demon King Ganon. His previous appearances in human form were in Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess. Number 84. When he first appeared in Ocarina of Time, Ganondorf had round ears. His ears got pointier in all following games, including Tears of the Kingdom. Number 85. Ganondorf doesn't express any interest in the Triforce in only 3 games: Four Swords Adventures, Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages, and Tears of the Kingdom. Number 86. The size difference between Link and Ganondorf is huge. While Link is about 5'2", Ganondorf is 7 foot 6 inches tall. Number 87. Tears of the Kingdom is the 2nd game in the entire franchise where Ganondorf doesn't transform into Ganon. The only other one is Wind Waker. Number 88. While Ganondorf's favorite gemstone is Topaz, he doesn't wear one on his forehead, preferring the power of the Secret Stone. Number 89. Secret Stones are new artifacts introduced in Tears of the Kingdom. They come from the Zonai, a prehistoric civilization who supposedly descended from the gods who came from the sky. Number 90. Senior lead artist Makoto Yonezu revealed that the word Zonai was an anagram of the Japanese word Nazo, meaning mystery or puzzle. Number 91. The Zonai share many similarities with the Uka from Twilight Princess. They both are an ancient tribe with advanced technology, live in the sky, and have ties with the founding of Hyrule and the royal family. The Zonai are less creepy though. Number 92. The Zonai leader Rauru and his Hylian wife Sonia created the Kingdom of Hyrule. Each member of the royal family is a descendant of this couple and therefore has Zonai blood, including Princess Zelda. Number 93. Rauru's name may ring a bell with some Zelda fans. There was a Rauru in Ocarina of Time, also known as Kepura Gebura in his owl form. A town was named after him in The Adventure of Link, but he doesn't seem to have any relation with King Rauru from Tears of the Kingdom. Number 94. Despite having no direct relation with Rauru from Ocarina of Time, King Rauru wears a medallion to pay homage to his namesake. One side of this medallion looks like Rauru's face, while the other side resembles his owl form. Number 95. The history of the royal family of Hyrule seems to be inspired by the legends surrounding Japan's imperial family. Hylia is based on the Japanese goddess Amaterasu, while Sonia seems to be inspired by Himiko, an ancient priestess and the earliest known queen of Japan. Number 96. Sonia's name is derived from the Greek name Sophia, which means wisdom. Number 97. Queen Sonia's ears are longer than those of many Hylians, and this design choice was made for a very specific reason. According to the Hylians' beliefs, ears are used to receive messages from the gods, and the pointier the ears, the better they receive these messages. Number 98. Shortly after founding Hyrule, King Rauru and Queen Sonia created the Shrines of Light to protect the kingdom from monsters and chase away the darkness. Number 99. Completing Shrines of Light grants Link with Lights of Blessing that he can use to improve his number of hearts and stamina by praying to the goddess statues. Number 100. All goddess statues from Breath of the Wild are in Tears of the Kingdom, with some requiring new ways to activate them. The sequel introduces 2 new goddess statues, one at the emergency shelter and the other at the Temple of Time. Number 101. The Temple of Time contains the only goddess statue in the entire sky. Number 102. The Temple of Time used to give the Zonai a time schedule, as a bell rings out 4 times from this temple at 7 o'clock AM and 7 o'clock PM. The bells started and ended their day, and while the Zonai are no longer around, the non-soldier constructs still operate on this time schedule. Number 103. One of the main new features introduced in Tears of the Kingdom is the ability to build various items. Director Hidemaru Fujibayashi said that players began experimenting with item building and sharing their creations on social media shortly after the release of Breath of the Wild, and that motivated the team to develop more tools in Tears of the Kingdom to allow players to express their creativity. Number 104. Zonai devices not only give Link more options to build new items, but it also prevents players from breaking the game with infinitely powered devices. Number 105. Lightning can deal serious damage to Link, doing up to 14.5 hearts of damage and knocking off any weapon he holds. An easy way to avoid being struck by lightning is to unequip any weapon or shield with metal in it. Number 106. Technical director Takahiro Dota revealed that the inspiration behind Tears of the Kingdom's setting came from Wii Sports Resort. When he was working on the programming for Woohoo Island and Wii Sports Resort, Shigeru Miyamoto found the concept of adding new mechanics to an existing setting interesting, and that eventually led to the creation of the world map of Tears of the Kingdom. Number 107. While Nintendo hasn't announced any DLC for Tears of the Kingdom yet, the official website for the game featured a disclaimer about its DLC. This clause was removed from the website, but fans can still hope for new content to be added to Tears of the Kingdom in the upcoming months. And that's 107 facts about Tears of the Kingdom, cherry-picked just for you. Which one of these facts surprised you most? Let us know in the comments. Make sure to hit the like button if you learned anything and subscribe to the leaderboard so you don't miss out on our next video. Thanks again to our sponsor, Atlas VPN. Make sure you grab their summer deal right now to get all of Atlas VPN's great features on all of your devices for only $1.83 per month. Plus, you get 3 extra months for free. Click on the link in our description to take advantage of this great deal right now. Thanks for watching.